There are only two bowlers in the history of Test cricket who've taken all 10 wickets in an innings, and one of them is my guest today. But that's not his only record. He's the only spin bowler to have taken 5 wickets in an innings against all the major Test playing sides, and in 1994 he took 6 wickets against the West Indies for just 12 runs. So what's the secret of his phenomenal success? Well, stick with me as I talk to Anil Kumble, and let's see if he tells us. Welcome to the program, Anil.
Thank you, Karl.
I gather there is still one ambition of yours that isn't fulfilled, am I right?
Yes, I've come close to that a lot of times. I haven't achieved a hat-trick in Test cricket. I've done that at the first-class level, playing for Karnataka. I've done it twice. But I've been on that hat-trick ball a lot of times in my career in Test cricket, but still
that extra little bit of luck hasn't happened.
But I was twice on a hat-trick in my Delhi Test match against Pakistan during the 10-wicket haul. But I don't think you can ask for more than 10 wickets in an innings, and I don't think you would get a hat-trick under 10 wickets in an innings. I think that's asking for too much.
You're absolutely right. You can't ask for more, but I gather a hat-trick is something that your mother is absolutely dreaming for you to do. Isn't that right?
Yeah, every time, whenever I call before a match, the first thing she says is, you should take a hat-trick today. But I think for her, probably hat-trick is really easy and it comes off. But I think that'll come. I mean, it's just I've been on that a lot of occasions, and it's just.
Okay, let's talk about that phenomenal record when you took 10 against Pakistan in February 1999. At that moment, when Venkat Lakshman caught Wasim Akram to give you your 10th, were you exhilarated? Were you relieved? Or were you just too stunned to believe it?
I think I was too stunned to believe it. If you have a look at the video, that expression was just dazed. I was dazed totally. And the first thing that came to my mind was, we had won the Test match. And then, when all my teammates came close to me, and then I realized, slowly started realizing that I picked up all the 10 wickets in an innings. Obviously, before bowling that over, I knew that if I pick up one, I'll get all 10. But it was just, one of those days where probably we're destined to get all the wickets.
I gather there was a sort of game of superstition that you and Sachin were playing with each other right through. Do you remember it?
Oh, yes, of course. Invariably, you have all these superstitions going in a match. There are different times, different superstitions. You just catch on to it. And sometimes, these superstitions work, so you just stick to it. Sachin, after lunch, he just said, let me give your sweater and the cap to the umpire. Let me change your luck. And that particular over, I got Afridi and Ijaz Ahmed 2 wickets in 1 over. And then, at some stage, it was not happening every over. He would just come up to me and say, this over, you'll get a wicket. Let me take your sweater and cap. So it was happening, and it went through till I got my 10th wicket.
So every time you took your cap and your sweater, you got a wicket?
Oh, yeah. I got a wicket that over every time he did
Are you, in fact, generally superstitious?
I think all of us are. I mean, I don't know. At least cricketers are superstitious, and you generally, on that particular day, you just remember. Probably it just gives you a bit of confidence, if you know that you're doing the same kind of things. It's not that, I have the same breakfast or I do the same thing every day, but it's just that, you catch on to something.
And it gives
you certain comfort, and you feel good about it, and, you perform better, or it just helps your performance.
There's a story in the papers that when you had 9 wickets in hand and you were waiting for the 10th, Srinath came to bowl from the other side, and Azhar, the captain, apparently said to him, aim at anything but the stumps. Is that true?
Yes, I think Sri was instructed, or I'm sure anybody at that stage would have done that. But we had a lot of time to get the last wicket, and it would have been really embarrassing for me, if Srinath had to do it again. So when I came on to bowl that over after Sri had literally, tried his hardest not to get a wicket, to say, okay, I have to get a wicket this over, otherwise it's asking for too much.
So in fact the 10th was the most pressure-ridden of the lot for you?
Yes, obviously. I mean, everyone was looking forward to that, and everybody, even from the crowd, when I went in to third man, they kept saying, don't worry, you'll get your 10th wicket. So, that thought was always there at the back of my mind.
In fact, I think the time when Kapil was poised in 1994 to beat Richard Hadley's record, you had to do virtually the same thing in reverse. You had to bowl badly for 2 overs to give him a chance.
Yes, he was on 430 wickets, and we had to get 3 more wickets to win the test match, coming in on the 4th day, and I got 2 wickets very quickly, and there was a last man in, and he had to get 1 wicket to equal the record. So Azhar came to me and said, you have to, and obviously, I would have done the same thing. I wanted Paji to get that 431st wicket in Bangalore.
So you bowled badly.
I tried my hardest. I was aiming at the 6th stump and trying to bowl there, and Kapil got the...
This is wonderful. There's a lovely picture that emerges of players who are actually cooperating and helping each other achieve their records.
Oh yes, I think, when you get so close and when you know that your teammate is on the verge of creating a record, obviously you help each other. That's what cricket is all about.
Let's go back to the very beginning of the story of Anil Kumble. You only really seriously found yourself involved in cricket when you got chosen for the under-15 side for Karnataka, and I gather B.S. Chandrasekhar became your coach. How much of your development do you owe to him?
The first time ever I saw B.S. Chandrasekhar from up close, and he was the coach for a 1-month period in an under-15 camp. And, the stories that we had heard, there was not much of television. And, you have these, when you're young, you hear stories about how these bowlers bowl and how it goes. So the only story that I had heard of B.S. Chandrasekhar was that he would bowl a ball, and it would pitch, spin like this, again pitch, and come in. So, these kind of stories when we were young, this was the story I had heard. And I was fortunate enough to see him so close, and he helped me in changing my run-up. And the first thing he told me, and even now he tells me, is that don't worry about your spin or about anything else. You just stick to your strengths, which is your accuracy and the bounce you get, and don't worry about bowling leg spin, genuine leg spin.
But although B.S. Chandrasekhar actually shaped your spin, it was in fact your brother Dinesh who, when you were a teenager, advised you to give up medium pace bowling, which is what you did, and take to spinning. Do you remember why he gave you that advice?
I think one of the reasons was that I was called for checking in a in a school game, and then he came up to me and said, I think you should start bowling leg break, because there's hardly any leg spin bowlers playing for Karnataka in the junior level or even at the senior level. So just try your luck. It might help you. And the first time I bowled, the only thing I knew was to bowl the other way around, and I didn't have a formal coaching or anything like that. So after a couple of months, I was playing for Karnataka in the under-15. So since then, I just stuck to bowling leg break.
Now, you made your debut in first-class cricket on the same day in the same game as Srinath, playing for Karnataka against Hyderabad. Do you remember how that match went?
Oh yes, but we had, both our debuts were totally different. He got a hat-trick in the first innings, and he was on a hat-trick even in the second innings. He missed his hat-trick, and then I got a king pair. So both of us will surely remember our debuts. He'll remember mine, and I'll definitely remember his. I was out first ball in both the innings.
You played for India when you were still in your university, and on your third one-day, you went on, in fact, to get the man of the match. That was quite a dream start, wasn't it?
It came as a surprise to me that I was chosen the man of the match by Jeffrey Boycott. He was
you genuinely weren't expecting it at all?
No, not at all, because usually, it was a high-scoring game, and it was about, I think we were chasing something like 260 or something, and 250 or something like that in 55 overs. And I remember Sanjay Manjrekar getting 80-odd in that game. So I was just thinking that, I'm sure, and I had picked up only 2 wickets.
So you had already given your vote to Sanjay?
Yes, I would have, yeah. And when Jeffrey Boycott announced that I was the man of the match, it came as a surprise.
You, of course, had your fair share of ups and downs. Shortly after you made your debut for India, you got dropped for about a year and a bit. Then you were rested in 97 and then again dropped in 99. When a player gets dropped, is it a very difficult thing to have to live with?
I think when I was dropped the first time, after my England tour, and we came back and played 3 one-days against Sri Lanka, I was dropped for 1 year, 1.5 years. Actually, looking back, I don't regret it, because that gave me enough time to finish my studies, and also know what international cricket is all about. I mean, I had played international cricket, and coming back, I knew what my limitations were, and I had to work on a lot of things.
Do you mean to say that if you could relive your life, you'd drop yourself again?
Not really. I think that period really gave me a lot of. I mean, it was disappointing that we're out of the team, but I've never looked back. I mean, if I'm dropped, I never think that I'm being dropped or whatever.
But what about last year? You just made cricketing history. You'd equaled the record and taken 10 wickets, and then suddenly within a couple of months you got dropped. That must have hurt and angered you as well.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I missed a tour, so it was. I think all these ups and downs do come in one's life, and I've always believed that no matter how your cricket is going through or whatever is happening, I think I usually take success and failure in the same way, and then just ignore that and try and work harder to.
So you keep your emotions in control no matter what happens.
I think that's the way I am, and I usually keep it that way.
So would I be right in saying keeping emotions in check and a lot of determination to make sure that you make good again? Are those the two secrets of your success?
I think you can say that, and obviously that determination and that's always been there, and whenever I've always loved challenges. When there's a challenge to perform, and where there's I don't think pressure as a negative thing, and I've always thought that pressure is positive, and I've converted those into positive thoughts, saying I have to do well, and if I do well under these kind of circumstances, then obviously that achievement is far greater than doing something when you're not under pressure.
And let's take a break. I want to come back in part 2 and talk about your bowling and also talk a little bit about you personally. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Stay with us. Welcome back. My guest is Anil Kumble. Anil, they call you Jumbo. Why? Looking at your incredible height, you're more of a giraffe than an elephant.
Actually, Jumbo was coined by Sidhu. It's not with regard to an elephant. It's more to do with Jumbo Jet. And, we were playing the Irani Trophy match in 1992 when I was trying to make a comeback. And I got 13 wickets in that match. And there were a couple of spots from where it was really, going off. And the pace with which I bowled. And Sidhu was at mid-on and shouting, "Come on, Jumbo, come on, Jumbo." So it just got stuck.
The other one they call you is miser because you give away so few runs. Do you prefer that one?
Yeah, I think if probably I haven't heard people calling me miser, but it's just that they attach that name with me because of the number of runs that I give. So
let's talk a little about your bowling. It's not conventional spin bowling, and yet you clearly fool the batsman most of the time. How would you describe your bowling action?
That when I started bowling, I bowled medium pace, so that kind of style has remained, and I never wanted to change. Although when I was out of the team a couple of times, some of the thoughts, negative thoughts, do creep in and say, no, I think I need to, start bowling the orthodox leg break, try and change my action, bowl a bit slower, run in slower, don't jump, do this, do that. But I just wanted to stick to my basic action because that's where I've been successful. I mean, I just go with a feeling. I'm a bowler. I've got a few variations, and I've got a few strengths. I just bowl to my limitations and try and get the maximum out of myself.
That's perfectly true. But as Harsha Bhogle in a tribute to you once said, because yours is an unorthodox form of spin, perhaps you haven't got the recognition you deserve. Do you think sometimes commentators and critics haven't fully appreciated you?
I'm not really too concerned about the recognition which people. It sometimes upsets you that they sometimes take you up there, and suddenly the next day, if you don't get wickets, you're just at the rock bottom. But I think what matters to me the most is the recognition my teammates give me, which I think I have. That's the ultimate thing. I mean, if within a team they know that you're a good bowler and you can achieve this, you're expected of this, and if you're delivering the goods to the team, I think that's the most.
So you're able to put a steel wall between yourself and the outside commentators and critics?
Yes, but sometimes, it does affect you at times. But I think you just have to generally get on with life and think in a rational way.
Now, of course, you're not just a bowler. In fact, you have 6 first-class centuries to your credit, and yet, surprisingly, in tests and one-dayers, you've never been able to do it. Do you think it's the pressure of a bowler that stops you, or is it just lack of opportunity?
Not really. I think I've got a few opportunities which haven't, I haven't done justice to.
Is it luck?
Not really. I can't blame really luck on that part, because I don't think I've really worked hard enough on my batting the way I do on my bowling, probably because of the pressures that I have to perform as a bowler. And that was one of my ambitions. I've come close to getting a test 100 twice, and both the times I got run out, because the first time I was running out, I was the last man out. I didn't have a partner at the other end, and the second time I was run out by the third umpire, which I don't want to say much about, but I came very close to a test 100. I'm really keen on getting that record, a bit different.
How long do you give yourself before you can do it?
1 year.
Literally?
Yes.
So it's
I think
a
I can
target.
do it. I think I can. I have the capability. I've done that in the first class level at a consistent, very consistently, and I have a good first class record. I'd like to do that, but hopefully get a few more runs in one day.
Have you made up your mind which particular side you're going to do it against?
I think if it comes against the best side, nothing like it. So, I've got 88 against South Africa. That's my highest test score, which has one of the best bowling attacks in international cricket. So I know I can bat. It's just that, I need to probably work harder at it.
Well, good luck for that one. Let's talk a little about the personal side. People say you're shy, they say you're serious, they say you're very quiet. Is that really so?
Yeah, I like to be, I'm quiet, very reserved. Actually, I feel comfortable with crowd and with all that, only with a cricket ball in hand. I mean, if you take me out from the stadium and put 100, 200 people, and if you put me in the middle, I feel really uncomfortable. Probably, I like a very quiet place and just do things in my own pace and in my own style. So, if I'm only comfortable with crowd and all these surroundings only when I have a cricket ball in hand.
And is it also true that you don't like expressing your emotions openly, that you keep them under a stiff upper lip?
I think I've always done that. I mean, whatever things I have in mind, I've kept it to myself and tried and analyzed in my own way what is right, what is wrong, and how to go about things. But there are a couple of friends and my wife who I talk to, and obviously you have to get something out of try and keep bouncing back. I think sometimes I use my wife.
But you sound as if you have to push yourself to talk about yourself.
Sometimes yes, but I think my wife has borne the brunt of it sometimes.
She's found the key to open you up, has she?
Yes, she has, and I think sometimes I use her as a punching bag, which is not right. I mean, sometimes you let it out, and even from the cricket field, you have certain things in your mind, and I talk to her.
Tell me about your wife. You've been married now a year. How did you meet Chetna and where?
We met at a common friend's place, and that was the time I met her, and we got to know each other well. I think we know each other enough, and at least I know her enough to spend the rest of my life with her.
So was it love at first sight, or?
Yes, sort of, yes.
She bowled you over?
Yes.
It's not just, of course, your wife Chetna that you've allowed yourself to become close to. You've also done a lot of work with disabled people, and you've responded to them with great alacrity and warmth. Is that also another way of channelizing your emotions and feelings?
Oh yes, I've always, felt very strongly with regard to disabled children and even with nature. I mean, I felt really strongly with those regards, and in whatever way I've been able to support I think the only way that I've been able to support them is not by giving them too much. I mean, I haven't been able to give them time that I would love to, but it's just that, you know, I've only given them my name and I've just supported them in whatever way I can at this point of time. But
there was a 19-year-old called Valen who sadly died, but you became quite close to him at one point in time.
Oh yes, I mean, you know, I met him in Bangalore on a wheelchair, and he was not really looking well, and his mom, you know, said the only time that he smiles is when he is watching cricket, and when he's watching you. And I thought to myself, I mean, if I can put a smile in his face every day he watches me, and he didn't, and even his mother knew, and I knew that he wouldn't survive for long. So I thought, you know, maybe whatever I can do to the foundation. It's called Shakti Foundation. It's in Madras, and I did support them. I mean, by attending the function and trying to raise funds, and sadly he passed away. And he used to write to me, giving me a lot of, when I was dropped from the team in '97, he used to write to me saying, don't worry, cheer up. I mean, coming from him really gave me a lot of strength.
So in fact it was a relationship that gave you strength as much as you gave him strength.
Oh yes, I think it was mutual, and you know, I haven't been able to do much for the foundation, but I think with the World Wide Web coming in, hopefully I'll try and, you know, contribute a little bit more on that effort.
You have a good 4, 5, 6 years ahead, but when you stop being a cricketer, have you thought about the future? What would you like to do?
I haven't thought about it when I stopped playing cricket, but I think I've just, I mean, last 2-3 years I've just wanted to start something which goes alongside with cricket, and we have I'm a partner in one of the companies which does cricket software, and my brother is one of the partners, and he looks after the business. So we have that, and I have started a sports promotion company after my 10-wicket haul. So we are looking at various options.
So from the playing of cricket, you'll move perhaps to the business of cricket.
Yes, I think, but at the end of it, it has to be cricket. I mean, I'll definitely be involved with cricket in some way or the other.
And there'll be millions on it who say, may you be involved for a very, very long time. Thank you very much for a wonderful interview.
Thank you, Kam. Thank you.